Okay, good morning everyone. You're welcome to today's class. Today we want to look at approximation and percentage error. Approximation and percentage error. So the first thing we are going to look at, first of all, we are going to be talking about approximation. Approximation. So in talking about approximation, we are going to be looking at the standard structures involved in the approximation of numbers. So the first key things you are going to see is the ability to be able to identify round up numbers, or what we call rounding up numbers. So for the round up numbers, you have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. For the round down numbers, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are key structures that we need in approximating numbers. And definitely the sign, the approximation sign, you have one of it. This is just one of it. And we have other signs that you need to know. But today we are just looking at just this alone. So for rounding up of numbers, each time you have a value that is a round up number, you make it 0 and then add 1 to the value you are rounding off. But if it is a round down number, you make it 0 and the value you are rounding off remains the same. So let's look at the different positions of numbers when you approximate values. So like the place value system, which has to do with knowing the exact position of different numbers when they are given, it's same as approximation of numbers. So look at the first one. You have units, you have 10, you have 100, and then you have 1,000. Units, 10, 100, and then you have what? 1,000. Then the other one that contains a decimal point, you have thousands, hundreds, tens, and units. This last value, or the first value before the decimal point, signifies unit or whole number. Signifies unit or whole number. Then you have with respect to significant figures. With respect to significant figures, when arranging values in terms of significant figures, you begin from your left-hand side. From your left-hand side. So you have 1 significant figure, 2 significant figure, 3 significant figure, 4 significant figures, 5 significant figures. I'll go again. When arranging values in terms of significant figures, you begin from your left-hand side, from the left to the right-hand side. You have 1 significant figure, 2 significant figures, 3 significant figures, 4 significant figures, 5 significant figures, and so on and so forth. Then coming to decimal places, the first value after the decimal point, you have as 1 decimal place. The second, 2 decimal places. The third, 3 decimal places. And then the first value before the decimal point, is our whole number. Whole number. Let's take note of these. And going again to the significant figures, you have, remember I said from the left to the right hand side. The left to the right hand side. So you have 1 significant figure, 2 significant figures, 3 significant figures, 4 significant figures, 5 significant figures, and 6 significant figures. Take note that there is a decimal point here. There's a decimal point there. So same thing you do from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. 1 significant figure, 2 significant figures, 3 significant figures, 4 significant figures, 5 significant figures, and then you have 6 significant figures. Let's take note of that. Then when you have 0 values, Values that contain 0 after the decimal point. Values that contain zeros before and after the decimal point. The significant figure begins with the first natural value you have there. The first natural value you have after the 0 values or the 0 elements. So you have one significant figure, two significant figures, three significant figures. Take note that the zeros after the decimal point, the zeros before the decimal point, in this scenario they are not significant. Let's take note of this. They are not significant. So you have the first natural value to start counting from the significant figures. So you have 1, 2, and 3 significant figures, and so on and so forth. So we are going to be looking at some work examples illustrating how to resolve the approximation of numbers. So the first one we have here is round off the following to the nearest 2 decimal places and 3 decimal places. 2 decimal places and 3 decimal places. Now look at the first value we have here, 41.6195. 41.6195. Okay, so we are rounding it off to the nearest 2 decimal places. We locate 2 decimal places, the second value after the decimal point. The second value after the decimal point. We look at the value close to it, which is 9. It is a round up number. A round up number. So what do? We add 1 to the value we are rounding off, and then the other values becomes 0. They become 0. Remember, zeros are not really significant after natural values written in the decimal. So we have 1 added to this one here, and then we have 2. So our value of expression to 2 decimal places, we have 41.62. 41.62. Now the next expression, the next one we have there is to 3 decimal places. To 3 decimal places. We look at the third value after the decimal point, which is 9, and we look at the value close to it. It is what? 5. The value close to it is 5. Now, the value close to it is a round up number. It's a round up number. So it becomes 1 added to 9. If we add 1 to 9, it becomes 10. The moment we add 1 to 9, it becomes 10. And we can't write 10 here. So all we just do is to write down 0 and then carry 1. It becomes, this one here becomes 2. So we have 41.62. 41.62. But the question here is to round it off to 3 decimal places. And 3 decimal places signifies 3 values after the decimal point. 3 values after the decimal point. So we can add a 0 to make that expression 3 values after the decimal point. Then we have the second question here, 9.3219. 9.3219. Now to 2 decimal places, we look at the second value after the decimal point, which is 2, and we look at the value close to it, 1. The value close to it, 1. 1 is a round down number. It is a round down number. So what do? The value we are rounding off remains the same, and the other values become 0. This is what we have, 9.32. 9.32. 9.32. Now to the next one, rounding off to the next 3 decimal places, we look at the third value after the decimal point. The third value after the decimal point. So we look at the value close to it. The third value after the decimal point here is 1. And we look at the value close to it, 9. 9 is a round up number. It becomes 1 added to this 1, making it what? 2. Making it 2. So this is our value. So this is the expression of rounding off numbers to the nearest 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places. And in our next video, we are going to be looking at significant figures, rounding up values to the nearest whole number and significant figure. Thank you very much.